set to take the field here at Finley Stadium. It is their first ACC game of the season as they welcome the Virginia Cavaliers. It is the 58th all-time meeting and is the Raycom Sports ACC football game of the week. Virginia and NC State here in Raleigh, North Carolina. It is so great to have you with us for our game this afternoon. Tom Wormy along with Dave Archer. Larisha Harris will join us in just a moment. Dave, Virginia's 3-1 coming off a conference victory last week against Louisville. For NC State, undefeated for the Wolfpack. This is their first ACC game, and they've got the top passer in the league in Ryan Finley.
Yeah, we're expecting high-level quarterback play today. Let's start with Ryan Finley of NC State. Ryan Finley came in as one of the most highly regarded quarterbacks in the country. He has not disappointed. 3 consecutive 300-yard games. Now, he's had to. NC State has not been able to run the football, but make no mistake, this fiery competitor can sling it all over the yard. Now, to have the kind of numbers that you have as a quarterback like Ryan Finley, you've got to have guys go get the ball. Outstanding receiver core, the headliner, Kelvin Harmon. Back-to-back 100-yard games. Tommy's coming off of a 1,000-yard season a year ago. This is a prototypical big-time wide receiver.
Now, those are two players with a lot of experience in the ACC. Bryce Perkins is a first-year player for Virginia, a junior college transfer. Dave, we know he can throw the ball. 9 touchdown passes, but he can also run it too.
Yeah, and they're worried about that here in Raleigh. NC State has been preparing for Perkins, outstanding passer, but a dynamic runner. And a week ago against Louisville, he made it look like Lamar Jackson was playing quarterback for Virginia. Had a tremendous amount of runs. In fact, he leads his team in rushing. He's a tremendous two-way threat at quarterback. But he's got some help as well. The leading receiver in yards for the ACC, Alameda Zacchaeus, is at wide receiver. They'll try to get this guy the football in a lot of different ways. Dynamic player is Zacchaeus. Now, we've talked all sorts about offensive football, but Larisha, I know they're going to play some defense today. Tell us about it.
Well, NC State's defense took a big hit after the NFL claimed last year's front four in the first 4 rounds of the 2018 draft. But they aren't starting completely over. Those guys that are in those positions this year, they have some experience, and they've already exceeded expectations. So far, they lead the ACC, allowing just 13.3 points per game, and they've shut out their opponents in the second half. The Pack hopes to continue that momentum in today's game.
It's interesting talking to the coaching staff here, and you talk about what they've added from a player's standpoint. They point to Ted Roof being added to the staff. Ted Roof, former defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, his recent job. He's come in here. He's the co-defensive coordinator, handling that back end of the defense for Dave Huxtable, the defensive coordinator that's been here. They love the blend of these two guys, and NC State's defense is reflecting that.
Dave, NC State is also 9th in the country in points allowed, just over 13 points per game, as Larisha alluded to. Virginia won the toss and elected to defer. So NC State will get the ball first as the Cavaliers will kick it away. It'll be Brian Delaney kicking to Maurice Trowell, standing at his goal line. That'll sail through the end zone. And we're ready for our Food Lion Impact players, Dave. And we'll start with a Pack on offense.
Yeah, I wanted to give a big guy up front some kudos, and this guy has been a stalwart at left tackle. 33 consecutive starts, all ACC a year ago. All he does, Dave Doeren says, is does his job. And you're on the blind side of the quarterback. You love that. On defense, Juan Thornhill moves from corner to safety. He leads the team in tackles. They say this guy is one of the smartest players they've ever coached in Virginia.
77 degrees and light breezes here at Finley Stadium. Gillespie, the running back behind Ryan Finley, who has completed almost 69% of his passes this season. And there's another one at the 28. Going out wide to Jacoby Myers. The junior has the catch. Tackled by Joey Blunt for 3 yards on the play.
Well, you see the numbers for Ryan Finley. He comes in 1/10 of a percentage point in completion percentage ahead of the great Phillip Rivers. Yeah, it's one of those deals where he's got to try to hang on to him. You got to play him. You got to play him. You got to get him in there. Can't rest him in the 9th inning.
Finley rolls and throws, and that one is caught at the 38-yard line. Kelvin Harmon came up to meet it, 10 yards, and a first down for the Wolfpack.
This is what makes Ryan Finley so dangerous, is his ability to throw the ball from different positions. They move him. They make the point of throwing the ball to the outside. This is a guy that has all the throws, big-time arm. Yes, this is guys on the radar of the teams in the National Football League that need a signal caller.
Dave, he's got a disciplined diet, very serious about his sleep habits. Now he wants to go deep down the middle of the field, and a leaping attempt is made inside the 25-yard line. Emeka Emezi pulls it in for 40 yards from Finley.
When you got a receiver corps that attacks the football the way these guys do, and a little throwback special here, I thought that Finley picked out the wrong guy to throw to. Harmon was wide open, but when you got guys like Emezi that'll go get the football, and let me tell you, you're going to see it all day long. I haven't seen a receiver corps attack the football the way NC State does. Got a good example there from Emezi down the pipe.
Ryan Finley, who averages 352 yards passing, best in the conference and 4th in the nation. Pack going to the ground game to Reggie Gillespie, the senior from High Point, North Carolina. A modest 1-yard gain for Gillespie.
This is an area that NC State, we talked about it off the top, NC State has struggled to get any kind of run game going. Naheem Hines in the National Football League, Jalen Samuels in the National Football League. Gillespie is that guy, the holdover, the senior that's been here for a while, but they just not been able to get any ground game going. And on the other hand, Virginia's been very good against the run.
Pack averaging 108 yards rushing per game, 13th in the ACC. 2nd and 9. Gillespie right side. Forges his way inside the 20-yard line.
Good hard running by Gillespie to finish that run. Looked like he's sealed up. Chris Peace is going to be the linebacker, number 13. That's going to fill the gap properly, plays off the block of the receiver, steps in, but did a good job of finishing the run by Gillespie.
Here's our red zone, brought to you by CPI Security, the official security partner of the ACC. No team better on 3rd down in the conference. 58% conversion on 3rd down for the Pack this season.
It's a very good red zone defense that Virginia puts on field, only giving up 3 touchdowns.
Finley tried to connect with C.J. Riley at the 11-yard line. It is incomplete. 32, Darius Bratton coming up for coverage for the Cavs.
Yeah, good job by Bratton to hold inside leverage. He allowed the receiver to get to the inside, but then immediately got his eyes back to the quarterback, or it was able to get his right hand in there. The crowd felt like that maybe Bratton arrived a little bit too early, but the officials felt like it was right on time, and a good job after a couple of big plays by NC State offensively to force the field goal attempt by Virginia.
Christopher Dunn, the freshman field goal kicker, trying to put some points on the board for the Pack, and he'll do it from 34 yards away. NC State able to get that field goal in the early moments of the first quarter on Raycon Sports. The Wolfpack players coming to Carter Finley Stadium and led by their head coach, Dave Doeren. In his 6th year and 8th overall. He's got 60 career wins. Joe Reed, twice last season, Dave, with kickoff returns for touchdowns, including the opening kickoff for 98 yards in the Military Bowl against Navy.
29.7 yards return a year ago. That was 8th in the country. This guy is really dangerous.
From the 2. Reed smacked down near the 20-yard line. 20 yards on the return for Joe Reed. Time for our Carolina Ford dealers. Keys to the game with Dave Archer, the Pack and the Cavs.
Well, this will be very important for Perkins to do this. Think before you drink. Think before you drink. When you start talking about Virginia defensively, we saw them rally a little bit against Drinkowitz's offense for NC State. Got to find a way to sort out what they're doing on offense and get a stop. They did that. And keep the quarterback in the cage. NC State wants to pin Perkins to the inside and take away the run game.
Ellis has the run on 1st down for Virginia for 3 yards. Great conversation, Dave, we had with Dave Huxtable, the 5th-year co-defensive coordinator, along with Ted Roof, who we showed you at the top of the broadcast. But I love the terminology by Coach Huxtable. Keep that quarterback back there and in the cage.
Yeah, they wanted to cage him in, Tom, and I think it's a good term. They are very concerned about Perkins' ability to run the ball. He leads Virginia in rushing.
2nd down for Bryce Perkins. Pass complete near the 30-yard line. Hassis Dubois, the junior, with the grab. And he's got 7. More Food Line Impact players, Virginia on offense.
Well, Jordan Ellis is a guy that's done an outstanding job of running the football in the back end. I said that Perkins leads that yards per carry, but you see the number in 448. He leads the team in rushing, 3 considered 100-yard games. He's got 2 this year. And on the other side, Jermaine Pratt makes the transition from safety last year to linebacker. Played a ton of games here, but now finally is a starter and really the quarterback of the defense.
Top tackler on the team, although Virginia able to come up with a first down just beyond its own 30. Virginia football. Perkins rolls it and throws up near the 40. It is caught by Olamide Zaccheaus, the senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for 7 yards.
34 consecutive games now for Olamide Zaccheaus with a catch in a game. This is the guy they'd love to get the football in space to. And you start talking about what Perkins brings to the table. Obviously, Zaccheaus is going to be one of their featured guys, but Perkins' ability to do a lot of stuff, run the ball, catch the ball out of the backfield.
Appears to be somewhat of a broken play, and NC State will end that abruptly. Darian Roseborough and a loss of 3.
I say catch the ball in the backfield for Perkins. He actually caught a ball out of the backfield last week, actually injured one of his fingers. Let's take a look at the run game, little dive option. Excellent job by NC State to blow it up at the point of attack. Darian Roseborough, one of those holdovers from that excellent defensive front from a year ago. Excellent job by NC State on the D-line. They have had great D-lines here for quite some time.
All avenues for Bryce Perkins were closed off, and now 3rd and 6. Perkins trying to put some touch on it near midfield. Going up and fighting for it was Dubois, and he's got it. First down, 23 yards, Dave.
Well, Dubois does an excellent job here, and a good job by Perkins to put him up to bat. If you're going to go one-on-one, you got to give your guy an opportunity. As Dubois did not do a very good job of saving room along the sideline, but like we've seen NC State's receivers do, he attacks the football over McLeod and makes a big-time catch.
Dubois got it for the first down for Virginia into pack territory for the 45. Perkins looking toward the 5. It's caught. Zaccheaus has it, and he's in the end zone. 35 yards on the connection. Perkins to Zaccheaus.
Now, NC State is a risk-reward defense. They're gambling, getting a lot of people around the line of scrimmage to stop the run game. And Perkins is going to see this man coverage down the field. Good protection for him. And he finds his big-timer Zaccheaus down the field, as Ingle, the freshman, couldn't make the play.
Cavaliers, 35 yards on the play.
Bryce Perkins came to play, and he finds Zaccheaus with a touchdown. We'll be back after a local word from ACC stations.
5th TD catch of the season for Zaccheaus. 10th TD toss for Perkins. (7-3) Cavaliers. There will be no return from Trowell. This pass is complete. Thayer Thomas dances his way up to the 45-yard line. Zane Zandier has the tackle.
Tom, this is something that North Carolina State's going to have to implement. They're going to have to implement some of these screens because they're not able to run the football. They've not been able to run it all year long. They need to use the screen game to help slow this pass rush down.
Going to try to run it here with Bodine. Spins for a short gain. You're right, Dave. 108 yards average per game on the ground for NC State, and that's 13th in the conference.
That was something that Dave Doeren was concerned about, that they had not been able to get their run game going. Remember, some big-timers are playing in the National Football League, and so they've got to have somebody step up and be that bell cow guy to run the football, and the last being Bodine are those two guys today.
First down for the Pack, closing moments of the first quarter, coming off of that win last Saturday night at Marshall, 37-20, where Ryan Finley threw for 377 yards and 1 touchdown. That's into traffic, into double coverage near the 39-yard line, and knocked down to the turf by Bryce Hall.
Excellent job by Hall. We've seen him already come up with one earlier in the game in an interception. Hall, the corner, just going to jump this throw out. Excellent job with his eyes. Finley tries to keep safeties out of the way, but Hall never really came out of his back pedal. when he got to the top of the back pedal, he drove on the football. Excellent job of getting in there and almost came up with another one.
Finley has only thrown 1 interception this season. Third-year starter, transferred from Boise State. His offensive coordinator was Eli Drinkwitz. Gillespie left side. He's got some room. Second effort. 45-yard line of Virginia. Yards on the run. Clock ticking down, though, Dave.
Yeah, and just what the doctor ordered, if you're Ryan Finley and NC State, you need a little something out of your run game, and Gillespie rips off a nice run on second down to get this to 3rd and short.
We expected a good one. Cross-division rivals. One comes from the Coastal, one comes from the Atlantic. It's a battle at Carter Finley.
Look at the average on first down. Both highly successful on first down, and it's because of the passing game, not the running game.
Perkins with that TD pass to Zacchaeus. He was 4 of 5 on that scoring drive. 2 for 4 on 3rd down, 3rd and short for the Wolfpack. Reggie Gillespie hops down near the 40. Thornhill the tackle.
Both these teams have the ability to heat the quarterback up with pressure, and the only thing that slows that down is to find some ability to get a little something out of the run game or the screen game. NC State probing with their run game on the last 2 plays and have been able to get a first down.
Gillespie ran for 81 yards and a couple of TDs in the win at Marshall last Saturday, 37-20. 502 yards of total offense for the Pack against the Thundering Herd. That pass is complete beyond the 40 to Myers. Spin cycle and taken down after 7 yards from Ryan Finley.
Good quick throw from Finley. Myers is in the slot, quick out. Going to beat Snowden, the ACC Defensive Player of the Week a week ago. 8 tackles, a sack, and interception for Snowden, number 11. But good job by Myers to get a good play on first down.
Finley inside the 20. Hits Kelvin Harmon. Tries to turn it upfield. Bryce Hall gets in the way for the Cavaliers. 11 yards on that play.
That throw right there is what kind of excites people about Finley. That's a wide side out route to his big timer Harmon. Corner was off, but his ability to make that throw, and now you're back into a manageable 3rd down situation for Finley. But his willingness to take that deep, that long shot across the field makes him different than a lot of quarterbacks.
Pack 1 for 1 in the red zone. 34-yard field goal from Christopher Dunn. Trying to get more to the end zone. Touchdown! Emeka Emezi just took it away from the defender. Emezi 16 yards from Ryan Finley.
Well, sometimes you need a receiver to bail you out. Finley's going to get to this late. Gets late pressure, but his throw is late. But Emezi comes back to the ball. I've been talking about these receivers attacking the football. Emezi realizes that Brenton Nelson's got an opportunity to steal this throw, and he goes and gets it. Boy, Emezi has had an outstanding game to start here in the first quarter in a few minutes.
6th TD pass of the season for Ryan Finley.
Well, you got to have guys make plays, and Emezi has done that. He comes back and makes a big-time catch for his quarterback. NC State leads.
How about that mouth-watering tailgate going on here at Carter Finley Stadium with the Pack up 10-7 after the 41st career touchdown pass here at NC State for Ryan Finley, 6th best in school history, and Bambard will kick it away. Reed, the deep man, along with P.K. Kyer. It's going to be Reed near the 5. Reed, 40-yard line, and stop near midfield.
Tonight, Virginia Tech out without Josh Jackson. And is it Ryan Willis? Is it Hendon Hooker? We'll have to find out who does it for Justin Puente.
Perkins' pass is complete to Zacchaeus. Pass midfield, first down yardage, 14 yards on the play. This after Perkins, Dave, was 4 or 5 on the previous drive where they scored the touchdown.
Yeah, I'm impressed with his command of what they're doing offensively. Obviously came in the spring as a transfer, a junior college transfer. Really, when we talked to Jim Days, does a great job with their sports information. Talked about it. He's really a Power 5 transfer. He was at Arizona State. Wanted him to play receiver. He had a neck injury, went to junior college, wants to play quarterback, and that's what they've got him doing here at Virginia.
He gets stopped cold. Deontay Holden all over Perkins, and he drops him in the backfield.
This is what NC State does such a good job as they crowd the line of scrimmage and try to blow up your blocking scheme, and Holden is not even blocked. Steps in without anybody touching him and puts the quarterback on the ground to force 3rd and long, trying to get this Wolfpack faithful into the game. They've been a little bit dormant here, trying to rally here as the Wolfpack try to make a stand on defense.
Cavaliers 1 of 3 on 3rd down in the game as we play in the second quarter, 3rd and 9. Perkins' pass nearly picked off by Ingram as he was looking for Zacchaeus.
The ball thrown a little bit too far upfield by Perkins here. He makes the right read. Zacchaeus is going to come in on the slant, but an extra job of undercutting the route on the outside by Ingram, and he almost stole it. Good job there, and a good stop potentially for NC State, and they've left a lot of their defensive players on the field just to kind of figure out whether Virginia's actually going to punt the football.
Lester Coleman, the all-conference selection from a season ago to punt for Virginia. Thayer Thomas is deep at his 10. Bounces at the 4 and goes into the end zone. 51 yards on the punt from Lester Coleman. When we come back, it will be Pack ball. The bell tower on the beautiful Raleigh campus of NC State. And up by 3.
Welcome back to Carter Finley Stadium. The Wolfpack currently up 10-7. A new tradition, though, for the Cavaliers. After every victory, they smash a rock. I was told that this is symbolic to moving up or climbing up a mountain, and the only way to reach the top is to go one rock at a time. And during last game, we saw that Charles Snowden was the one who actually smashed a rock for the Cavaliers.
He had a huge game a week ago against Louisville. He surfaced when they needed him. They're banged up in linebacker, and Charles Snowden, monster day. You see his numbers right there. ACC linebacker of the week, and he's going to have to play a huge role today for UVA on defense.
This rush, second level person, first down. He'll let you know. 20 in red, goes for 12 yards.
Well, Ricky Person now starting to emerge. He's had a couple of runs. This is something they were looking for. That offensive line with somebody to run the football behind him, and the true freshman starting to make it happen.
He does it again. Just short of midfield. How about those back-to-back jaunts by number 20, Ricky Person.
Now you challenge that offensive line. Come off the ball and give Person an opportunity. Got an excellent block on the inside by the tight end who was playing fullback there. Got a good block for him, frees him up.
28 yards on the last 2 runs by Person. Turns the corner. Little high step at the 40. Avoids a tackler, and Person is down. They'll mark him out of bounds near the 25-yard line.
But when you bounce the ball to the outside, they've got big receivers here, and they do a good job of catching the ball. Can you block? Stephon Lewis, number 1, gets a key block on the outside, and then we get a little Walter Payton right there with a little shuffle of the feet and the high step.
55 yards in the last 3 runs by Person. He needs a breather. Give it to Bodine. How about 12 yards, 16 yards, and then 27 before the run by Bodine.
Now, you can bet there was a little challenge levied to the offensive line along the sideline by Dave Doeren and his staff. Hey, can we run the ball? Well, they've answered that on this drive.
2nd and 8. Approaching the 3-minute mark of the second quarter. NC State has a field goal and a touchdown pass from Finley to Imezi. Bodine tripped up at the 15.
And don't think the way they have thrown the ball here in the first half hasn't affected the run defense as well. They've done a nice job of spreading the ball around, and all of a sudden they're coming off and running the football.
Finley will give it off. Gillespie trying to fight for every inch. Ran into Chris Peace. How close is this going to be, Dave?
I think it's first down. He got to reach yet. Looks like he has to reach just beyond. I would call for a measurement there. If I'm, I don't know if you can do that. I used to be able to call for a measurement.
So it is fourth down. Gillespie short of the line. 2 for 3 on fourth down for the season as Finley tries to back his way.
I think the ball came out initially, Tom.
Looked like it wasn't clean, Dave, on 4th and 1.
And they've held him short. He's short of where the ball was prior. Based on the far official come running in, he was marking it short of the 15-yard line. Needed to reach the 15. See, the ball is bobbled a little bit right there. He immediately comes clean.
Finley came up short, Dave. That's the indication we're getting from the officials.
Has the ball even been spotted yet? I can't even see the ball in the field.
There is some confusion on the field. The chains want to move. The down marker says fourth down still.
Is the ball on the ground? I didn't see the ball spotted.
It was determined that the ball carrier fumbled the ball short of the line of gain. He recovered the same fumbler, recovered the ball beyond the line to gain, and that is a first down for North Carolina State.
Well, obviously the official on the far sideline who came in and marked it had a good angle and a look at Finley as to where he recovered the ball. I think the Bronco Mendenhall is incredulous that the ball went forward and he caught the ball going forward. I think that's going to be a tough explanation to the Virginia head coach.
An enormous break for the Pack. Presence of mind by Finley to get back onto that football. And if I heard our referee correctly, and I think that I do, at first, Dave, Finley was stopped short.
Well, the ball was short, and then he caught the football in the air and evidently caught it beyond the line. I didn't see that, but regardless, NC State first down now.
Gary Patterson gave us the official word. Gillespie. Not a whole lot on the right side for Gillespie. Runs into Juan Thornhill.
Now, NC State, what they're going to want to do is obviously want to score a touchdown here, Tom, but they want to work clock as well. So they don't want to give Virginia another opportunity to touch the football. So this will be clock management. And I would assume Finley now at some point is going to assume control of this drive and throw the football.
He's got Kelvin Harmon at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, showing blitz zero coverage, man-to-man on the outside with the two slot receivers.
Harmon has 2 100-yard receiving games this year, floating it to the end zone, and it's a touchdown. Carrie Angeline, the sophomore, pulls it in, 14 yards and a Pack TD.
We talked to Eli Drinkowitz, the offensive coordinator, and asked about your tight end. And Carrie Angeline says he said we got a couple things designed for him down in the scoring zone. And they came up with one right there. Outstanding catch with a well-thrown ball by Finley with a player in his face. So get the first down on a bit of a broken play, Tom, and then on the next play, you strike. Or 2 plays later, you strike with the throw.
First catch of the season for Angeline. Became eligible to play in this game and makes an impact.
Angeline going to run the little corner route. Zandier's in really good place as far as coverage goes, but the ball is just perfectly thrown. Drops it right over the shoulder. In fact, Angeline juggles the football, and the USC transfer finds a way to squeeze it with tight coverage. Another contested catch by NC State, this one for a touchdown.
14 yards. Finley to Angeline. Second TD pass of the game for Finley. He's up to 42 for his career and now 7 for the season. Ryan Finley. That pass to Angeline was the only pass of the scoring drive for NC State as Tavares Kelly takes it up beyond the 35. Let's see what's going on. We have Bryce Perkins For Virginia, getting away from some trouble beyond the 40 for Perkins. James Smith-Williams on the tackle, and 5 on a run by Perkins, the junior from Queen Creek, Arizona. Dave, how many times has NC State won 6 or more ACC games in a season?
Now, full disclosure, you guys talked about this yesterday. You did. You talked. So you know the answer.
I don't know the answer.
I don't know the answer because I don't pay attention to you guys the day before the game.
Or ever, for that.
Yeah.
I have a good guess. I don't know the answer.
I'm going to say 7.
You're in the ballpark, Dave Archer, as usual. Former standout for the Atlanta Falcons and at Iowa State. Dave Archer joining me in the broadcast booth. Larissa Harris is on the sidelines. Was that picked off? At the 48-yard line, Nick McLeod stepping in the passing lane. He's got his first INT of the season.
Well, it's tight coverage, but the throw is late. Excellent job by McLeod to trace the steps of the receiver on the out route, trying to get the ball to Dubois. But Perkins holds it. He's got to get it out on time. He did not. That allowed McLeod to get his head around and make the play.
Third interception of the season by Perkins, and McLeod, the junior from Rock Hill, South Carolina, his first pick. Swinging it out to the left side, Gillespie. 45, and then down to the 43. Tim Harris on the tackle, 6 yards on the play, and the clock at 25 seconds. Second and 5 with 25 seconds to go in our second quarter. Couple of TD passes from Ryan Finley of 16 and 14 yards. Mezzi and Angeline have the TD catches, and this one is complete. Down to the 37 or so to C.J. Riley for 6 yards.
Good job. Remember, the timeout left in the pocket for Ryan Finley, so doesn't necessarily have to throw the ball along the sideline. He'd like to keep that in his pocket, but he doesn't have to.
Finley lets it go. Incomplete to Kelvin Harmon.
I've been impressed with the corners for Virginia. Did an excellent job. They've been in tight coverage all day. Bryce Hall there, number 34. We've seen it from Tim Harris. This is a challenge now. You got big receivers. Now, these are big corners. You don't normally see guys 6'2" and 6'1" playing corner. But Bryce Hall 6'1", Tim Harris 6'2", so they match up favorably for Virginia in size against these big receivers for NC State.
Second and 10 for the Pack, which has won its last 2 ACC openers. Last year at Florida State, 2 years ago at home, right here against Wake Forest. Finley angles to the left, 33-yard line. Zandier, the tackle, 4 yards on the play, and a timeout taken by NC State. It is their last with 7 seconds to go. Well, Dave, keep in mind what a lead means to NC State, especially in the second half. Their defensive unit has not allowed an offensive touchdown in the second half this season, and only 3 total TDs all year.
Well, and I think points will be a premium because Virginia and NC State defensively are outstanding in the second half. 2 of the best in the country at keeping people off the scoreboard.
A perfect day for college football here in Raleigh. Next week, we're off to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for Syracuse and Pittsburgh.
They're going to give Finley a quick throw here because Virginia playing way off. So if I'm Finley, I'm going to take a quick throw. In fact, I think he's changing the play to try to get the quick throw here.
He's 9 of his last 12 pass attempts.
Must get out of bounds if you're the NC State receiver. There it is.
And they will get out of bounds at the 27 to Jacoby Myers. 3 seconds on the clock, 6 yards on the play.
I'm really surprised that Virginia's done a nice job of taking away the downfield throw. A little surprised they gave away the quick, easy throw to make this a little bit more comfortable. Now it moves from about a 50-yard attempt to 44 here. True freshman at kicking, Christopher Dunn.
Dunn was 3 of 3 in field goal attempts against Marshall. He's already made one today. This is going to be close and good.
Virginia was offside, so it was a free kick. Looked like Thornhill was offside, the edge rusher for Virginia.
44 yards on the connection by Dunn to add to his 34-yarder in the first quarter. That's the longest of the freshman's season. So NC State capitalizes on that turnover, and the interception by Nick McLeod turns into 3 points, and the Pack will go to the locker room up 20-7. Let's go down to Larisha.
Hey, Coach, you guys are grinding out the yards, over 100 yards rushing, over 280 total offensive yards. Your thoughts on the movement?
I'm really happy we're getting the run game going, something we've been working hard on, and Ricky Person sparked those guys, and Brady and Reggie. O-line's playing hard. It's great to get that turnover right there before the half on defense and get a field goal. It's got to execute. Got to execute. Just keep playing.
And defensively, you guys have been able to contain Bryce Perkins. He's actually in the negatives for rushing yards. Your thoughts on the defense discipline?
I'll be excited if it's that way at the end of the game. We got a lot of football left, and he's a good player. We got to finish.
Thank you so much, Coach. So as you guys have heard, we know that NC State, their defense has shut out their opponents in the second half. Will they do that defensively rather in the second half? That's to be determined. Right now, the Wolfpack, they lead 17-7 going into halftime. Katie?
20-7 is the halftime lead here at Carter Finley Stadium with NC State out in front. Tom and Dave with you here at halftime. Virginia had a 7-3 lead, Dave, but 17 straight points by the Pack.
Well, we talk so much about the two offenses, and namely the two quarterbacks, but really the defenses have shown up. We had the turnover right before the end of the half with Nick McLeod, and both defensive lines have played extremely well. So it's been the defenses that have kind of been really the star on display.
Yeah, let's compare those two quarterbacks. We'll start with Ryan Finley, the third-year starter, Dave. 180 yards through the air and a couple of TD passes.
Well, we knew coming in he had the ability to make all the throws, and we also talked about this receiver core, the way they attack and go get the football. Emezi in particular, the youngster made a couple of big plays. This is the one right before the end of the half. Angeline makes the great catch on the play, but Perkins has been a guy that needed to make plays, both throwing the football, and he's done some of that. His guys have made some catches as well. He was able to get the goal to Olamide Zacchaeus for the touchdown. But it was Perkins in the run game that they have not been able to get going. NC State has been able to take Perkins away and really been able to take the run game period away from UVA.
All right, Dave, it is time for our principal financial second half game plan for the Cavs and Packs.
So for Virginia, they need to get that run game going, and it might be the short passing game. They did have some success getting the ball on the perimeter, throwing the ball. That's an extension of the run game. For NC State, they want to continue to do what they're doing, keep the quarterback in the cage and trouble the Virginia quarterback.
All right, let's go down to the sidelines and check in with Larisha Harris.
Coach, you guys have 21 yards rushing. How do you get that run game going?
Take advantage of what they're doing, which is more box oriented, so it's still throwing to open up the pass game by the way they're currently playing. We got to throw and catch better.
And defensively, how do you stop Brian Finley?
It's really making plays when we're in position. So we're assignments are sound, but we're not making plays on the ball.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. We talked about contested catch, Tom, and that's what Bronco's talking about. He's not upset with where his guys are. It's just the fact that those 50-50 balls, which they determine are 50-50 balls, NC State coming up with the football more than their guys are.
Virginia will get the ball to start the second half. Bambard to kick it away for NC State. This is Joe Reed at the 1. Reed up past the 20-yard line. 21 yards officially on the return by Reed. As the Cavs go to the ground for 4 yards.
See the possessions for Virginia in the first half. Zacchaeus caught the one touchdown. The one that's kind of glaring is the two-play drive at the end of the half and the interception. Really the only mistake Perkins has made. Forced the ball into coverage, and it gave NC State an opportunity to put some points on the board. And third down conversions must stay on the field on third down, and some of that has to do with the fact that they face some serious third down long situations.
Nick McLeod had the interception late in the second quarter. Perkins escaping that pocket. Pulled down by the jersey, James Smith-Williams.
Just excellent coverage, Tom, by this NC State defense. They took away all the quick throws. This is a quick throw scenario. You see to the inside right there, no place to throw the ball. And then finally, this NC State team is going to get after you. And Smith-Williams, the pressure guy off the edge, forces Perkins out of the pocket and ultimately puts him on the ground.
A loss of 10 and the second sack of the season for James Smith Williams, the junior, from right here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and Millbrook High School.
And right back into 3rd and long for Virginia.
Just 1 for 5 in this situation in the game, and Perkins running the football near the 25 comes up well short by at least 5 or 6 yards. He got 11 on the scramble.
But when you go in at halftime, both these coaches went in and talked to their teams and said, okay, now let's establish some tempo in the second half. How do you do that? Offensively, you get some first downs, move the football. Defensively, force a 3 and out. Well, NC State wins the first one here, forces a 3 and out, and is going to get Finley back on the field.
We'll get started next week at noon with the ACC Blitz, powered by the 2019 Ram 1500. Syracuse and Pittsburgh going head-to-head at Pittsburgh, playing Central Florida. And Syracuse trying to pull the upset today against the Clemson Tigers. Coleman with the punt. Fair catch indicated near the 25 and made successfully by Thayer Thomas. 54 yards on that punt by Lester Coleman. We saw last week the North Carolina players, Dave, loaded up a couple of truckloads of supplies, and all the folks here at NC State very supportive.
Yeah, it was good to see Kevin Reddick, a former outstanding linebacker for North Carolina from New Bern. Got some of his former teammates, a number of people, I think a number of people from across the state, even from outside the state, coming in and trying to help out. So we got to continue that, though. There's a long way to go. Help those people recover.
Yeah, they also collected supplies outside of Carter Finley Stadium today, as folks coming into the game could make donations. Really is quite an effort across the states of North and South Carolina. Finley with all day back there. Has to get out of the pocket. Throwing on the run is Finley, and it is caught along the sideline, Kelvin Harmon. Dave, that's some freelancing by Finley.
Well, a lot of time, and it looked like Virginia only comes with a 3-man pass rush. See, only 3 are rushing, so 8 are in coverage. But if you give a quarterback this long to free up, and what happens is Kelvin Harmon finds a hole in that 8-man zone, and Finley puts the ball on him. Too hard to cover that long. I don't care how many people you have in coverage.
29 yards on the 4th catch of the game by Kelvin Harmon, as Gillespie follows his blockers to the right side for 4 yards. For more on Kelvin Harmon, down to the sidelines on LaRussia.
Well, guys, when we spoke to the coaches earlier yesterday, they told us that Kelvin Harmon is actually the type of guy that is the first in the facility and the last to leave. You can always find him in the receivers room watching film. He told me he likes to let his game speak for itself.
6'3", 215 pounds. He's a guy that you're going to see playing at the next level. He is a big-time player. You know, Justin Witt, the right tackle, left the game really late. And Tyrone Riley, number 55, is checked in at right tackle.
Person. Short gain for Person.
Kind of a strange substitution there, Tom, right at the end of the play clock there, as we take a look at NC State's possessions. Big one there at the end, the Dunn field goal at the end, the 44-yarder. Excellent kick, put him up 20-7, and that was after the turnover by Virginia.
3rd and 9, inside of 9.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Finley looking right, has a man inside the 15. Jacoby Myers in stride, and a first down, NC State.
Well, Jermaine Crowell, who's been forced into action really because the Brenton Nelson injury is nowhere in the sight here. Excellent throw, slot route. Slot receiver runs the out route with a clearing route outside and victimized Jermaine Crowell.
1st and 10 now for NC State. 4th catch on that previous play in the game for Myers. We'll go back to the ground, and Gillespie determined running inside the 10, down to the 7. 6 yards on the run. We go down to LaRussia.
Well, Virginia is currently missing a key guy on defense. We saw number 28, Brenton Nelson, go out in the 2nd quarter of the 1st half. He's not back on the sideline. I'm still trying to find out more about his injury. I'll let you guys know shortly.
Well, don't ever want to speculate, but it certainly seemed like he was a little woozy after a hit, so you can imagine what that potentially is, and they're going to err on the side of safety for Brenton Nelson. And so Crowell will be that nickel back, and he'll be important against this receiver corps.
Handoff. Gillespie inside the 5. Gillespie may have enough for first and goal NC State, and it looks like he does.
Gillespie, we talked about the outstanding backs they've had here in the past, and Gillespie does a nice job of powering inside. 235-pound running back, and once he gets that head of steam downhill, tough to bring down.
3 for 3 in the red zone today for NC State. Couple of TDs and a field goal. Trying to cash it in again. Right side, walking into the end zone. It's Reggie Gillespie for the Pack.
Gillespie came in with 4 rushing touchdowns. Add another one to the total here. Outstanding job up front. Again, NC State playing on Virginia's side of the line of scrimmage. When you get Gillespie going downhill at 235 pounds, he's going to run through the arm tackles, and he did it there.
Dave, how about 24 unanswered points by the Pack?
Well, 2 teams come into with high aspirations, but NC State has seized control.
Olds Coliseum, the first home of the ACC tournament. Saw the statues around the facility. Jim Valvano, national champs. Everett Case, Kay Yao, the legendary women's basketball coach. A lot of history on this Raleigh campus here at NC State. Joe Reed from the goal line. Big collision past the 15.
And look at Bryce Perkins in particular, averaging almost 80 yards a game on the ground. -2 so far.
Virginia as a team, Dave, averages over 200 yards rushing per game. It has not materialized against this NC State defense as Perkins takes it to the right side. In fact, it's been NC State dominating the rushing game so far this afternoon.
We got a chance to talk with Coach Huxtable, Dave Huxtable, defensive coordinator. We talked about the importance of trying to kind of corral, if you will, Bryce Perkins and then subsequently their run game, because Ellis is a big part of that as well. So it hasn't just been Perkins, it's been Ellis. They've taken away the run game. And you think about it, they've got a bunch of young guys up front. These are guys that got a little bit of playing time, but that was a vaunted defensive front a year ago that played most of the time. These guys have played at that standard.
2nd and 4 for the Cavaliers, and Perkins. That pass is deflected and incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down. Isaiah Moore got a piece of that one.
We had a chance to come in to watch NC State over the years, Tom, and their calling card has always been defensive front and get after your passer. And right now, Bronco Mendenhall is going to need something special from his quarterback. They need to find a way to stay on the field here. I think they can ill afford to put their defense back out on the field after giving up a touchdown on the last drive.
Ellis is their leading rusher. He's got just 13 yards on the ground. Perkins trying to create, gets away from one man, gets it away up near the 35, and what a grab. Hassis Dubois, number 8, the junior, making the catch.
Talked about something special out of Bryce Perkins, and that's exactly what they got. Outstanding job to avoid the pass rush right there. Holden wraps him up but doesn't get him on the ground. Perkins stays alive and finds Dubois for the first down. That is exactly what they needed. They needed something special out of their special quarterback, and Perkins made one of those kind of plays that you look back on and you say, wow, that might have got us going.
4th catch of the game by Hassis Dubois. That was for 11 yards and a first down. They try the other side of the field with Jordan Ellis. He goes out of bounds just beyond the line of scrimmage, maybe 1 or 2. That will be classified as a run for Ellis, and 1 yard officially to match his jersey number.
Really well played defensively there by NC State. Isaiah Moore, a freshman linebacker, getting wide.
Here's our 1st and 10 line, Dave, brought to you by Lending Tree, official loan shopping partner of the ACC. They have limited Ellis as well. He averages 112 yards per game on the ground. This is Zacchaeus to the Pack side of the 50, and he runs out of bounds near the 40-yard line. Olamide Zacchaeus in a little misdirection. Holden forced him out after 25 yards on the gallop by Zacchaeus.
Yeah, Robert Denai going to reach into the bag of tricks here. Makes it look like they faked fly sweep or jet sweep a number of times and have not given it to Zacchaeus. This time they hand it to him. NC State's been so stout in the middle. They have the ability to outflank them right there. Tried with the pass play the play before. This time it's the jet sweep that gets to the edge, and Zacchaeus makes a play.
Longest run of the game for Virginia, 25 yards from Zacchaeus. 1st and 10 Cavaliers driving the football. Perkins with the time. Over the middle, caught inside the 10 as he hit Tavares Kelly. That pass on schedule for Bryce Perkins.
Well, an excellent job of protection up front this time for Perkins. He has a chance to sit in there and wait for this to happen. You see the pickup of Jermaine Pratt coming on the blitz, gives the quarterback an opportunity, and he shoots it right down the middle to his freshman, Kelly. Big time play there, and one that Virginia needed. Think about the 3rd down scramble by Perkins to keep this drive alive, and all of a sudden the Cavs are threatening.
32 yards on the previous play into the red zone for the first time this afternoon for Virginia. Football at the 7. Initial hit near the 5, Jordan Ellis. Andreas Bryant was the first one to create contact with the rusher, Jordan Ellis.
Wolfpack defense that has not allowed a offensive second half touchdown all year. Well, Virginia trying to put an end to that, but Bryant made a nice play there to force 2nd down deep in Wolfpack territory. Got to give Perkins a 2-way option. Find a way to get him to the perimeter with a run-pass option.
Ellis going to be hitting the backfield.
Now North Carolina just swarming the line of scrimmage with defenders. So you got to find a way to get to the perimeter. Look how many NC State defenders are in the picture. Just no place for the run game to go. They do an excellent job of keeping leverage on the runner. And now you forced a 3rd down situation here. I would anticipate that they will spread the field some here and give Perkins an opportunity. But they don't. They go with a little bit tighter package. Got to be Perkins on the perimeter.
Last play was a loss of 3, just 2 for 7 on 3rd down. 3rd and goal. Perkins, extended period in the pocket. Now flushed out of there. Perkins throws back into the end zone, and it's caught. Olamide Zacchaeus on 3rd and goal, 9 yards, and his 2nd TD catch of the game for the Cavs.
3-man pass rush by NC State allows Perkins to sit in the pocket and then ultimately get out of the pocket to create. Only 3 men coming. He waits. Now he's going to float to his left. And that's when coverage breaks down. Zacchaeus, the veteran, the senior, finds a hole, and Perkins puts on. So 2 3rd down scrambles by Perkins. They needed something special from the quarterback, and he got it done. I need my superstars to step up and make a play. It's Perkins to Zacchaeus for Virginia.
(27-14). NC State with the lead after that touchdown pass to Zacchaeus, 9 yards, and his 2nd TD grab of the game from Bryce Perkins, who now has 11 TD tosses on the season. First touchdown allowed by the defensive unit in the 2nd half of any game this season by NC State, playing its 4th game of the year. Their game against West Virginia was postponed officially earlier this year because of Hurricane Florence, as that goes through the end zone. NC State came into the afternoon 2nd to last in rushing in the conference. They've run for 126 yards in the game. That pass is complete. Thayer Thomas has it from Ryan Finley for 9 yards on 1st down.
And good recognition by the freshman to find a little hole and set it down as as Finley rolled to his right. And he found Thayer Thomas. Ask Finley about these receivers. He says he trusts all of them. He says all of them make plays for him.
From the 35 for the Pack. Teams have not met since 2012, and that was a win for Virginia right here at Carter Finley Stadium, 33-6. Person should have enough for a 1st down just beyond the 35-yard line. Flag is out, tail end of the play after the whistle.
After the play, Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 33, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And that will end the third period.
Well, Virginia gave up an early score here in the second half, but they've answered, and we've got a battle headed to the fourth quarter here at Carter Finley.
Our third quarter stats are brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery, celebrating 12 years and over $5.8 billion raised for education. To learn more, visit nclottery.com. First and 10 from the 49. Person cuts the angle off and goes up the middle to the 45-yard line. Inside the 45, 7 yards on the run. As Snyder had the tackle for Virginia.
Tom, we talked a little bit about Ricky Person so far in the game. He's the guy that kind of kick-started the run game. Now, obviously, the offensive line had to get some blocks, but Person, the true freshman, 6'1", 210 pounds, out of Wake Forest, North Carolina, Heritage High School, had an unbelievable senior year, over 2,200 yards rushing, 38 touchdowns, and they had hoped that he was going to blossom into that guy that was going to be that big play guy for him. And he's kind of put in a workhorse performance today.
Trying to add to the total is Person. Makes the move at the 25, and Person tracked down near the 5-yard line by Charles Snowden, who saved the touchdown. It's the freshman Ricky Person on the run.
A coming out party for Ricky Person. Now he's getting help up front. North Carolina State doing a good job of blocking at the point of attack, but once Person gets in the secondary, he's got some elusiveness to him. And Snowden saves a touchdown.
That one went for 38 yards. He's over 100 yards in the game now rushing. 108 total for Ricky Person. First and goal, NC State Wolfpack as we cross the 8-minute mark. Towards the end zone. Front corner, adjusting to the ball and a touchdown. Kelvin Harmon for the Wolfpack. 16 yards from Ryan Finley for the score.
Well, Tom, when we get a chance to show this back, I want you to see ball placement here. Watch where the ball is put by Finley. DB's in good position. That is the epitome of a back shoulder fade throw by Finley. It's something they work on all the time. We talk to him. You throw the ball all around the body. His receivers expect it, and now they'll go for two. But what a throw by Finley, and Harmon expecting the ball to be there.
Pack will go for two, up 33-14. Finley rifles to the end zone, and it's caught. Emeka Imezi, two-point conversion for NC State.
NC State 5 for 5 in the red zone, and this one is the last one. Harmon, the big-timer, makes a play.
35-14. Two-point conversion to Imezi to create that difference. Here in the fourth, Kelvin Harmon had the TD catch, his first of the season. Now Ryan Finley has 3 TD passes in our game of 16-14, and again 16 yards here in the fourth.
Just so impressed with this receiver corps here for NC State.
Dave, you mentioned it on the way out. 5 for 5 in the red zone and 4 touchdowns. Virginia had only allowed 2 TDs in the red zone all season, 4 for NC State today. There will be no return. Perkins out of that pocket. Nowhere to go for Perkins. Run to DePratt.
Yeah, good job by NC State now, because if he escapes the pocket, it's man coverage down the field. There's going to be a lot of running room, but Jermaine Pratt does not allow that to happen. Captain on that defense, guy's been waiting his turn to be on the field. 43 games for Pratt as a Wolfpack member.
Wants to throw, pressure right up the middle. Pass is complete on a line to Jana. Perkins slow to get up off the turf after an 11-yard completion and a flag as well. Looks like a personal foul coming up against NC State.
15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
They're going to rough the passer here. This is something Perkins has done all day long, is stand in there, and that's what they want to try to eliminate, is taking him and driving him into the ground, something that we've seen a lot in the NFL. That rule doesn't necessarily exist here in college, but they are looking for, if it's extended hit on the quarterback, which that was, didn't really need to continue to drive him into the ground. So that's a legitimate call.
That's a Seuss who made the play on Perkins. They will step off the personal foul and take that football into NC State territory with 6:40 and rolling here in the fourth quarter. So glad that you have joined us on Raycom Sports. Another completion inside the 40 for Perkins. He's able to hit Tavares Kelly for 8 yards.
There's got to be a sense of urgency now for Perkins. He has to go fast.
Perkins, who threw for 379 yards, a career high against Ohio in the win against the Bobcats. They've won 2 in a row, beat Louisville last week as well.
Spending way too much time diagnosing the zone look.
Perkins on the move, directing traffic. Perkins sliding at the 25.
Again, got out of the pocket. We've seen it a couple times in the last 2 drives for Virginia, as Perkins has been able to skate out of the pocket and been able to hit it up the field. It's something they have not allowed him to do much of today. And he's done a good job throwing the ball from the pocket when he's had the opportunity, when he's been protected enough to where he could get it out.
11 yards on that run for Perkins and a first down at the 28 of NC State. Quick flip. Zacchaeus put on the brakes, but then could not get away from number 28, which is Sean Miller, 5 yards on the play.
Boy, you see how quick Zacchaeus is. Miller makes his tackle. It's not even his guy. He's guarding the outside player, and when Zacchaeus puts his foot in the ground, Miller has to make the tackle because Zacchaeus is going to be off to the races.
7 catches in the game for 92 yards. Olamide Zacchaeus, the Virginia senior. Another pass complete at the 20. That was Tanner Engel coming up to make the tackle of Zacchaeus. He got 4 yards. 8th catch of the game for Zacchaeus now.
Virginia would like to go a little bit quicker than they are, Tom. This is a little bit plodding in my mind with down 21 points here, but they're trying to maximize this drive.
3 of 9 on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 1. Inside of 4.5 minutes to go. Perkins surveys the landscape. That ball deflected as pressure was on him. And once again, he went down thanks to Lurel Murchison.
Yeah, relentless pass rush, too, because Perkins initially makes Murchison miss. He's going to make Murchison miss the first time right there, then steps around, and Murchison stays after him and is able to hit him just as the ball is getting released.
So 4th down, Virginia forced to go for it. They are 1 for 2 on 4th down in the ball game.
It's been about Perkins, and that's who, if NC State's going to defend this, has got to pay attention to number 3.
From just inside the 20, Ellis couldn't get away from that tackle by Moorhead, or else he might have been able to make his way to the goal line. 8 yards for Jordan Ellis.
Maybe the best run Ellis has had today, right through the middle of the NC State defense, and gets the first down. But again, working at a plow in the ground pace right here is Virginia.
Keep an eye on that clock now. Inside of 4 minutes to go in regulation. From the 12. Perkins scurries around and falls at the 21. Murchison bearing down on him along with Andreas Bryant.
Well, that defensive front has a huge standard to live up to, and they've done it today. I think they've done a nice job of creating some problems for Perkins up front, certainly for the offensive line.
10th play of the drive. Perkins pass near the 10. Good hands and the catch. Zacchaeus.
Again, good protection, Tom, allows Perkins to wait for Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is in the slot to his left, going to come all the way across the field, and the only late pressure allows Perkins to sort it out and get the ball to his best receiver.
110 yards receiving for Zacchaeus with 9 receptions. Ellis, pathway to the goal line. Jordan Ellis is in for the score for Virginia.
Well, excellent job of Virginia fighting their way, trying to get back down and get in the end zone against this really good NC State defense, but got some good blocks at the point of attack. And then Ellis does a nice job of creating at the back end of the run, realizing the importance of getting in on that play to save as much time as he could.
An 11-play drive capped by the Ellis TD run from 6 yards out. His 6th rushing touchdown of the season. 35-20, 3:08 to go after the Virginia score. So with 3:08 to go, potential onside kick from Virginia. Try the other side. They got the bounce, and they got the ball.
That's Dubois.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah, Dubois, the wide receiver, went up like he was making a catch from Perkins right here. Excellent job of kind of faking out. You see, all of a sudden it comes from the other side, and Dubois, number 8, just going to step right in and caught that side of the return unit for NC State sleeping. And a nice play by Dubois now that gives Virginia another opportunity. Now, the sense of urgency for Virginia has got to be much more acute than it was on that last drive. They had to get that last score to give themselves an opportunity to get the ball back, but now it's got to be, they got to be an overdrive on offense.
That was Delaney who kicked that perfect onside kick, and Dubois was able to come up with it. Perkins is taking off. Out of that pocket, 40-yard line and more. Perkins down the sidelines and inside the 30. They'll mark him out right at the 30-yard line, and it's a 20-yard run for Bryce Perkins.
No, it's a designed run, Tommy. They're going to pick up the blitz through the middle. You see the block on Pratt, number 3, and Perkins is right in behind that block. So a designed run for Bryce Perkins, and all of a sudden, here's Virginia inside the NC State 30.
.245 to go in the 4th. Pressure on Perkins. He's dragged down. Murchison, 3rd sack of the game for the Wolfpack, and his 2nd.
Again, Murchison is one of those big bodies in the middle that just kind of relentlessly keeps coming at you. A little bit of a bull rush, holding off the left tackle, Ryan Nelson, with his left arm while he gets in to make the tackle on the elusive Bryce Perkins.
We will see Syracuse next week as they go on the road against the Pittsburgh Panthers on our Raycom ACC football game of the week. This is Ellis stutter stepping his way inside the 35-yard line for 3.
Not sure they have enough time to do that, Tom. Run the football. I think that if they're going to run it, it's got to be the quarterback creating off of his ability to throw it. He's needing a lot of time here.
If NC State can hold on here, Dave, up by 15 with just over 2 minutes to go. The integrity of that pocket is compromised by Murchison and friends. Sack number 4.
And you say defensive lineman of the week in the ACC? How about Murchison? He has been a monster here in the 4th quarter. Laurel Murchison. 3 sacks on the day for Murchison. I think he pretty much sealed that up.
4 for the team, 3 for number 92. And the studs on the defensive line continue to perform for NC State. 4th and 22, 1:46 remaining on the clock, and it's a 15-point lead for the Pack. Perkins taken down. There are 2-3 flags out. It was holding on the play, Dave, but as you said,
Personal foul, face mask, number 55, defense.
Automatic first down.
Penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Yeah, that's the part that gets you. Now, this is a 3-man pass rush. Again, Holden does an excellent job of fighting through and getting there, but then grabs Bryce Perkins' face mask and actually whirly birds him around. I think that's that would be the definition of a face mask. Maybe lucky he didn't get a personal foul on top of it, but the automatic first down, huge.
And the only reason the Cavs have the football right now is because they recovered the onside kick after Ellis has scored the rushing touchdown. They're going to the end zone, trying to run under it. but too far for Hassis Dubois, who ran out of real estate in the back left corner, running with Chris Ingram. So NC State will now have wins this season against James Madison, Georgia State, Marshall, and Virginia if this score holds. And here's the coming schedule, Dave.
Boston College comes here to Carter Finley, and then a couple of tough games on the road now. That Syracuse game looks even tougher now as you look at it with their performance against Clemson.
The Orange coming up just a little bit short in their bid to upset the Tigers for the second straight year. This pass down by the 5'2" Zacchaeus is knocked down to the turf. Jarius Moorhead, who had quite a game against Marshall. He returned an interception for 57 yards for a touchdown in the win against Marshall.
Virginia's schedule, as you look at what they've got coming up, they get Miami and Charlottesville, Duke in Charlottesville, and then, or I'm sorry, they get Duke in Durham, and then have North Carolina come in the classic battle, the oldest Southern college football rivalry, and North Carolina, Virginia, week 3.
Miami posting a win against North Carolina at home on Thursday, over the middle, incomplete. Virginia Tech and Duke will play tonight in Durham. Zacchaeus couldn't grab that one.
Something that Bryce Perkins has lived with most of the day is he wasn't going to have a lot of time. And again, it's Murchison coming through the middle. And Perkins has had to get the ball. Out.
This will be the 4th time in the game that Virginia goes for it on 4th down. They're 2 for 3. 4th and 10 for the Cavaliers. From the 27 of NC State, Perkins. Pass for Zacchaeus, who got tangled up with the defender, Tanner Engel, and here comes the flag.
And what you look for now here, does he impede Zacchaeus' ability to come back to the ball? Because he's in good position.
Pass interference, number 10, defense, 15-yard penalty, in the spot, automatic, first down.
Yeah, because the ball is a little bit underthrown, and because Engel's not going to turn and find the football, he's going to impede Zacchaeus' ability to come back for the ball. He just can't, he's trying to gear down, and that right arm prevents Zacchaeus from coming back, and I think it's a legitimate call. Tough one, though, for the defender, because you're running after arguably the most dangerous player on the field for Virginia.
Perkins to his left, the throw made. Dubois grabbed it and went out of bounds. 5 yards on the play.
Perkins took a big hit at the back end of that.
Perkins has showed his toughness today, no question about that.
He really has, Tom. I'm so impressed with this kid. He's going to win a lot of games for Virginia this year.
6th catch of the game by Hassis Dubois, junior from Irvington, New Jersey. 66 yards. All those passes from Bryce Perkins, who has a couple of TD passes of 35 and 9 yards in the game. He's got 11 TD passes for the season. Deflected and intercepted at the 3. NC State has the pick. It's Dexter Wright on the deflection.
Well, and it's great recognition by Wright, too. He's a senior, played a lot of football. He realizes, okay, I'm going to elevate right here. He's going to try to throw that quick throw behind me. He's the one that bats it in the air and then comes up with it himself. So it's an excellent play by a veteran player in Wright to make the play that seals it for NC State.
Second interception of the game for the Wolfpack. Nick McLeod had one at the end of the second quarter, turned into 3 points late. And then Dexter Wright, the interception of Bryce Perkins. 4 interceptions on the season now for Perkins. And now with 1:06 to go, just a couple of snaps away for NC State from going 4-0. 1-0 in conference play and 3-0 here at Carter Finley Stadium.
Impressive performance by NC State and their wide receiver core. Certainly Finley distributing the ball. We talked about him. Here's our pass catch of the game. The last touchdown. Outstanding throw on the back shoulder, but you have to make the catch once it's there. And we talked about Harmon off the top. This guy is a big-time player. 6'3", 215-pound wide receiver that is going to be a nightmare for defensive backs all year.
6 catches, 94 yards and a touchdown for Harmon. Our Bass Pro Shops catch of the game from Kelvin Harmon as Ryan Finley threw 3 TD passes, and Dave Doeren has the win His 38th as the head coach of the Wolfpack. Dave, the final 35-21 as the final seconds tick off the clock. NC State is undefeated.
Yeah, and the score's going to go to NC State here, and rightly so. They outplayed Virginia today not from start to finish, but enough. But I'm so impressed with both teams. I think Virginia's going to give a lot of people some problems.
Final seconds tick off, and NC State wins it. For highlights and must-see moments from this game and others, check out theACC.com. Join us for the ACC Blitz, powered by the all-new 2019 Ram 1500 next Saturday at noon Eastern, followed by Syracuse at Pitt. You've been watching coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports.